Last week I posted a video showing evidence that gaming is shifting to the mobile phone. If you have trouble believing that, I recommend checking out that video, which lays everything out for you. The evidence seems overwhelming that the industry is shifting, but my favorite thing about that video was the discussion that followed it. I've been reading hundreds of comments after posting that video, and it seems like the real question is whether or not the mobile gaming industry is intrinsically deficient. Is mobile gaming a cancer that we should all righteously oppose, or is it something that normalization will fix over time? After reading your feedback, I would categorize your opposition to mobile gaming into three main arguments. The first category of pushbacks was questioning whether or not gaming is actually shifting, or if rather PC and console gaming are completely separate from the new growth of mobile gaming. Some of you argue that the growth of mobile gaming was due to the differences between Western and Eastern cultures. Others of you argue that the boom of mobile gaming was due to the increased mobile access in less affluent countries. And then some of you argue that the growth was because there are now, quote, more moms and dumb people playing games. So with the exception of that last argument, I would say that all of you are onto something. The differences between the Western and Eastern worlds is a factor in mobile game growth, and access to mobile phones is growing in less affluent countries, which would naturally bolster these numbers. But in addition to these, there also seems to be a shift of people that were hardcore PC gamers who now consider themselves primarily mobile gamers. In fact, in the discussion from that previous video, I read dozens of comments of people making confessions of how the busyness of their life is turning them to mobile gaming. Many of them are reluctant and even apologetic, but they are still making the shift. Since there is no research on this subject yet, and I have no way of making an accurate, educated guess, I have added a poll in the cards of the top right of this video. If you vote in that poll, it will reveal what everyone else voted as well. It won't be a perfect scientific study since my subscriber demographic is heavily lopsided in age and gender, but it should at least give us a general feel for how many mobile gamers are new gamers versus PC gamers that have shifted to their mobile phone. And just like I mentioned in my last video about the shift to mobile phones, any shift now, while good mobile games are hard to find, would imply a bigger shift if good mobile games ever became more common. So obviously I don't know what the results of that poll will be, but I recommend looking at those votes and then determining for yourself if that many gamers are shifting to mobile phone while good mobile games are hard to find. How many gamers do you think will shift over if good mobile games become commonplace? The second category of pushbacks was related to the professionalism of gaming. Many of you were keen to point out that even in the photography industry, professionals don't use their phones to take pictures, and that DSLR sales have increased. This is a great pushback. I don't think that PC gaming will ever disappear, nor did I argue that in my last video. Some people think that console gaming might become a novelty one day, but no one thinks that computer gaming will disappear. In my last video, I mentioned that some experts think computer gaming might experience a slight decrease over the years, but even that is a rare point of view. No one thinks that this is the end of computer gaming, especially with the development of virtual reality. What they do think, however, is that as mobile gaming gets better and better, it will win over more and more of us until mobile gaming becomes 80 to 90% of all gaming. Again, I don't know if they're right, I'm just here to show you the data and tell you what they're saying. In a similar vein, others of you pointed to the utility of a keyboard and how the response of a button will always give a keyboard and mouse an advantage over a phone, and that this will keep professional gamers on the PC. This is also a great pushback, but I do not think that all professional gamers will stay on the PC. Sports are not formed based on maximum performance. Running did not cease to become a sport when racing cars became one, nor did racing cars stop the formation of racing four-wheelers. If mobile gaming is able to present new challenges and new competitions, then new sports will form. Also, professional gaming is ultimately paid for by viewership, and viewership is sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes influenced by relatability. So if more people move to mobile gaming, it is likely that professional gaming will eventually reflect that percentage. Lastly, I'm not convinced the developers have had the chance to fully explore the capabilities of touchscreen, gyroscope sensors, and GPS, which are what a phone offers that a keyboard and mouse cannot. Pokemon Go was cute, but I doubt that's as far as we're gonna get. It is at least conceivable that developers might be able to organize systems creating synergy between the gyroscope and touchscreen with enough precision to rival a keyboard and mouse. I can't personally imagine a way to make that happen, but that's the thing about the future. If I could see a way to make it happen, then I wouldn't be telling you guys about it, and I would go make millions of dollars by actually implementing the idea. So to sum up this point, I wonder at times if we are comparing two technologies that are not equally developed. The third category of pushbacks was that all mobile gaming is full of microtransactions and that Blizzard is just making a money grab. This is by far the most common pushback I got, and I have the same fear. I agree that most mobile games are money grabs, and I'm afraid that even Blizzard will stoop to that level. But I don't think that it's safe to assume this yet, and many of the rumors regarding this topic have almost no evidence to support them. For example, one of the most common rumors is that Blizzard is using a Chinese company that is notorious for making money grab games. The name of the company is NetEase, and my only experience with them is Rules of Survival and Survival Royale, both of which are completely free to play. Like, the only thing you can buy is clothing, which doesn't help you play the game. So I took their top 12 apps listed on Google Play and read through dozens of reviews for each game. And while each game had something that people were complaining about, only one of them had multiple complaints about microtransactions, which is really rare for mobile games. So I have no clue where these rumors came from, but I don't want to focus too much on Blizzard and Diablo. First, because I don't know if it actually is going to be a good game. I have some fears of my own that Blizzard won't hit the mark. But second, because this pushback reveals a much bigger problem.
Obviously, mobile is a little bit of a dirty word, but what would you say to folks who are looking at this and seeing how people are reacting to it?
Yeah, I don't think mobile should be a dirty word.
Mobile gaming has developed a bad reputation. So much so that when an amazing game company like Blizzard, who up until this point only comes out with high quality games, announces that they're going to make a mobile game, people assume that it is going to be bad. The reputation of mobile gaming overpowered the reputation of Blizzard. Ironically, I find that this bad reputation of mobile gaming is potential evidence to support what I was saying in my last video about mobile gaming being the future. The reason I say this is because historically, money grabs and Ponzi schemes flourish when there is an imbalance of supply and demand. Money grab games are working because people want to be entertained by their phone, and there aren't enough good games to go around. When the game Last Day on Earth first came out, it exploded because it was a high quality game that was essentially free to play. Now, they later added more pay to play concepts, which destroyed the momentum of that game and hurt a lot of people in the process. But when it was set up as a free to play game, it was exploding. The point is that the solution to fix mobile gaming is to get better mobile games. When better mobile games come out, people will switch over to the better games and will be less likely to go to trash games in the future. Now, some of you believe that mobile games have only been getting worse. That has not been my experience at all, but even if that's true, it won't last forever. History continues to repeat itself. It only takes a few successful companies to rise above the rest to change the trend. A lot of you probably aren't old enough to remember that PC gaming used to have a phase where there were a lot more trash games than good ones. The demand for games on the PC were higher than the supply, so there were a lot of companies that would create crappy games and make a lot of money. But then there were companies that had a long-term mentality and created really good games so that they would develop a good reputation and we would keep buying their games. Blizzard was one of those companies, which is the reason you have all heard of Blizzard and haven't heard of companies like Delphine and Atlantean Interactive. So even though I have similar fears as you guys do that Blizzard will stoop to that level just as EA Games did in Battlefront, I also have a lot of hope that Blizzard will stay true to their reputation and pioneer positive change in the mobile gaming industry. Because the truth is, when free-to-play games are done well, we like them more than the ones you have to pay for, right? It is a lot easier to get your friends to play with you when they can choose how much they want to spend on the game. Those of us that are poor get a free game that we love, and those of us that have money get really cool outfits that we love. And there are a few other things that companies can charge charge for in a free-to-play game that don't really bother us. And there are even rare cases in which charging for certain things can actually generate respect. So in my next video of this series, I'm going to be discussing the 4 things that free-to-play games can charge for that don't compromise the enjoyability of the game. If you have any suggestions for that video, whether that's something you've noticed or you just want to suggest a game that you think was done well, please leave it in a comment below and I'll be sure to keep it in mind as I make that video. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.